might be a fort somewhere underneath the ground at Jamestown, but for many, many years, Jamestown was tilled by farmers, and as it was done back then. But Bill Kelso and his crew ended up digging and finding a lot of really relevant items about our past, artifacts, and we know what happened at Jamestown. And I can't really compare Jamestown to the city farm site, but there's a lot more history than just the barn. And I appreciate all of you all that came down tonight. I really did. And I share a lot of what you believe, and I'm glad the city manager talked about the barn. I think, I would ask that GA, and I'm glad you're back in town, GA, and Mr. Whitcomb and Mr. Lemming. I'd like to work with all of you on how the city farm land is used in the future. And I don't think that because the barn with its risk factors is demolished, that it can't be reconstituted or remodeled and put somewhere other than right in the middle of that property where it can be a full functioning barn and have the same use if that's what we just decide to do. We are doing archaeological surveys there. There's untold history on that land that we really need to learn about. For the gentleman in Norfolk who presupposes he knows a lot about what we have and haven't done in Newport News, I would just venture to say that we restored Lee Hall Mansion. We restored Endview. We have preserved the battlefields and the earthworks of the Newport News City Park, where the Battle of Burnt Chimneys was fought, otherwise known as Dam Number 1. So, Newport News has a long history and a proud history of preservation and restoration, and we can still do the same. For those of you that were part of the City Farm, the Riverview Farm Task Force a long time ago, and I know that's Mr. Gray and Mr. Lemming, and I appreciate what you did then, and I still think what you read to us has extraordinary relevance. And I don't think that because the barn comes down that it might not be a full functioning farm where people can come and see how things used to be. I think it can happen. Okay, so I think there's a lot of suspects. People suspect some underhanded theory that the land's going to get developed, and I really don't think that's going to happen. But there may be other uses for the land that tie the history that was there well before the barn was even there. And so, we have all these dynamics. We have a beautiful view and vista of the river. So I would just simply pledge to you to do away with all the suspicion. And I would love to work with you all on it. I don't disagree with, I disagree with you all. I do think that City Council doesn't have to have a meeting every time we decide to manage an asset. So I supported the vote on this farm, but on the barn. But I can see a way where the barn could be rebuilt at a fraction of the cost, utilized, and still be very iconic and useful. So those are just some thoughts of mine, and I just didn't want to come across as being, anti any of that. I very much want to hear what the citizens want to say about it, and I do think it's tremendously, it's extraordinarily possible that there can be a wonderful viewscape for the citizens to enjoy for many years to come. And so I think the process, as I've said before, is one where there's a lot of consensus, and all the contributions you've made in the past will be listened to again. So that's all I have to say.
Councilwoman Chair.